All right, everybody. I hope that that was thrilling for all of you, as it was for me. So now we've talked to the folks from Iliac Bay, and we're moving on to talking to the people from not Skyrim, no, beyond Skyrim. It is well beyond Skyrim, a little bit beyond, kind of just south. Cyrodiil. How are you Cyrodiilic folks doing today?
Hiya. Doing good.
Okay, good.
So today we're jumping straight into it. This is a little bit more of a focused showcase than some of the other ones. It's just a little thing because we've been showing off a lot of stuff in Cyrodiil already. We're going to do a little quest in Nibony, and we're going to explore this little town of Mothlight. Just a like a very focused little video. I'm Ria. I'm the narrative director, one of the narrative directors on Cyrodiil, and I've got Bellatrix and Mr. JDT. Do you want to introduce yourselves?
Yes, hi, I am Bellatrix, so I'm one of the co-leads for Beyond Skyrim Cyrodiil, and I also work in Dungeons and Interiors.
Hi, I'm Mr. JDT, and I am the exterior lead for Beyond Skyrim Cyrodiil.
Cool. So we're jumping straight into this. One thing to note straight away is that the voice acting that you can hear is not actually voice acting. It's AI-generated voice lines, which will obviously be replaced by proper voice acting in the final product, but it's just to give you a idea of, so that we can actually hear people talking to us and give us an idea of the quests and stuff. But we've arrived in Mothlight, which is a small town halfway between Bravil and Leowyn. You might have seen it on the map at the start. And it's one of the towns that we really wanted to kind of showcase a bit of the Nibonese culture. There's a lot of that culture that we wanted to really dive into. And there's a lot of weird and wonderful things in this town that you probably might be looking at already.
Most of us were killed or were taken away.
Yeah, we added Mothlight because in lore, like the Nibonese mentioned as this kind of highway basically through Cyrodiil with tons of like towns and villages and stuff. So we've really tried to build upon that piece of lore, because in Oblivion there was like Water's Edge and that was about it. So we've added a few small towns, like Mothlight's one of them. We have a few other ones like the Cadlu Chapel. That was just a single church in Oblivion, is now its own small town, which if you watched our Bravil stream, we visited there. So we've really kind of, wanted to bring Nibony more to life and make it this rather interesting place. So it's not just this empty wilderness. There's a lot of people to meet and see and talk to and quest with and, have a bit of fun.
Yeah, especially because we've got so many settlements in Colovia. We wanted to make sure that there was just as many in Nibony. And yeah, this one is you can see we've tried to kind of really drill down into what like the quintessentially Nibonese culture and explore that a little bit. You can see they've got face paintings on some of them. That woman that we just spoke to indoors was a battle mage as well, or a retired noble mage, I believe, of some kind. And yeah, and these people are Nibonese through and through.
A newcomer. Well met.
They've got different clothing. So if you played through Bremer or saw our recent Skingrad walkthrough, you might notice that a lot of the clothes are quite different, and that's again just playing on the different split between the cultures.
We're jumping straight into a quest here as well. We're going to do one quest over the course of this showcase, just to showcase the little town. And this one involves this man, Ganius Piranhas, who the villagers in this town believe is a powerful saint, a living saint. Though some other people might have some other conflicting ideas about that. And he's asking us to do a favor to retrieve some potions from the Renregia Kryn, which are in the area, which you might know from elsewhere, are kind of a Khajiit faction. That bleed into Cyrodiil. One of the advantages of working really closely with elsewhere is obviously that we can kind of collaborate on this kind of stuff, which is really nice.
If I were you, I'd check at one of their camps south of here. They were last seen headed that way. I'm not worried about how you get the potions back.
one of the other big differences between Oblivion's Blackwood and our Blackwood is we've tried to, I don't know if you noticed when we're outside, we've made it a lot more swampy, you know, boardwalks and things like that you know, the villagers used to get around, compared to Oblivion, where a lot of it was on the land. So we've really tried to big up that kind of swampy feel, and as you can see outside, there's, you know, water everywhere, it's wet. You know, we've kept the tree types that you saw in Oblivion, but we've really kind of heightened the experience kind of thing.
So right now we're getting warned by Corlia, this witch who lives in the village, to not trust Ganius, because she believes him to be a fraud, basically. This quest, we're going to have a choice at the end of how we resolve it. There's going to be a three-way choice. So again, that goes back to our quest philosophy that we talked about before, of trying to offer a meaningful choice, even in the smallest of quests, wherever we can. Not every quest is going to end up like that, but this is a great showcase for it.
I think one of the things we've tried to do is give a few more options for role players. I personally hate all the quests in Skyrim where you're kind of forced down one path, where there's a few quests I've only played once and you know my character would never do that, so I'll avoid doing that quest, whereas hopefully most of the quests we write do have a few options for sort of changing the outcome depending on what choices your character makes.
We can see a good little look at where, just about where we are, on the edge of the Niben. This is a shrine as well, tended by this this moth priest, which we've got here.
I once spent a year doing nothing but studying the patterns on their wings.
That's another aspect of like the Nibelese culture we really wanted to bring in, isn't it? The kind of spiritual side of it. So different towns and different peoples will have kind of, although many of them believe in the Eight, they'll also believe in various like water spirits and various other kind of gods and spirits and things. They're a lot more spiritual people than, say, the Colovians are. That's something we really wanted to bring in, because you don't really get much of that in Oblivion. So we do really look at the lore sources and kind of reintroduce those where it makes sense and where we think it gels with what was seen in Oblivion and wasn't completely out there.
So we're on our way to the Renrejadkrin camp now to retrieve these potions for this supposed living saint. The friendly witch of the village has warned us that these potions are the source of this supposed saint's power, and so she wants us to expose him as a fraud. And first of all, we have to retrieve the potions, and then we can decide what we want to do with them, whether we want to give them back to him, back to her, or expose him as a fraud to the family that have taken him in. So
I'm not an expert, but he did seem a little bit sketchy.
Yeah, I think it's I think it's fairly obvious, but you still get the choice. You know, it might be for the greater good to let people believe in him. Who knows?
That's very deep. That's deeper than my playthroughs ever go.
Got a really nice shot here of the jungle. Jungle Cyrodiil.
Yeah.
It's here.
Yeah, it's something we wanted to lean really into. We didn't want to just kind of copy what Oblivion did. No offense to Sky Oblivion, I know you're taking it in your own direction, but we, you know, kind of took our direction and kind of, you know, looked at Oblivion and went, we can do better. We can bring it in line with what was mentioned before. We didn't want to go crazy, so it felt like a completely different place, but it now feels, you know, like its own kind of distinct biome compared to Oblivion, where it was a lot of hills, trees and grass. That
is one of the nice things about Beyond Skyrim as well, so we can do a lot more blending of biomes. So obviously this will lead into Black Marsh, so it's definitely getting a bit more sort of marshy and swampy, because you don't suddenly transition to Begonia and it's kind of like, oh, it's a swamp now. That's one thing that I think the Bethesda games can't really do because it's just a province in isolation, but all our border regions do sort of have a bit of cultural blending between Cyrodiil and whichever border that they're alongside, so hopefully you saw that in the Skingrad trailer as well, but there's, obviously this is a lot more swampy because it's near Argania.
This one deserves his praise, if anything, for such a skillful death.
Isn't it?
This one would be amused, but the pleasure of drinking away again his power pleases him better. Impressive. This one will live like a king with such riches. Take them and leave.
Such riches, 68 gold.
Yeah, leveled gold.
Seems very happy though.
Yeah, he's happy with it. You can see there as well, just talking about that cultural blend, that was a camp for the Renrija Kryn, so rather than just a standard bandit camp, we've repurposed some assets from elsewhere to give us like a proper nice feel. That's one of the major advantages of working on like a project with loads of other teams, is we can steal and blend and do all kinds of stuff. So that Renrija Kryn camp had some lovely assets that made it feel a bit more elsewhere-y. It's courtesy of Elsewhere, not us. But hopefully whenever you're playing any of the projects, even if you're not playing them together, you will still feel like it's part of the larger world.
Though why you wouldn't want to have everything installed at the same time, I don't know.
So we couldn't persuade the Khajiit, but we managed to bribe him into giving us the potions back. And now we're heading back to town and we're going to make our decision about what we're going to do with them. Just having another quick look at the map as well to show you roughly where we are between Bravil and Leowin, right on the banks of the Niven. So this whole area is very, very big and vast, as you can see. So hopefully people will have a lot of fun exploring these jungles, because they are chock full of settlements, quests, and dungeons and all kinds of wonderful things to find. And the atmosphere, the atmosphere on them is just incredible. It's really, really good. And that's thanks to JGT and his landscaping team. So
yeah, I'm really I'm really proud of the landscapers we've got, because they've really kind of turned. Back when I joined Beyond Skyrim, this area, we tried doing it with the region generation, and it really just didn't work. But like doing it by hand has created this really wonderful jungle feel, which really taps into, you know, what Nibene should be, basically.
I love the sound effects as well. You
Yeah.
hear them in the background, the water, the birds and stuff. It's amazing.
Every time I go around,
as well.
yeah, every time I go around Cyrodiil, I end up with a massive like smile on my face, just because, like, even if I'm not doing a quest or something to try that out, it's like, you know, the amount of work we've put in and you know, kind of how it looks just brings a smile to my face. I'm super proud of what everyone on the team's done, really.
We've got a ruined mage tower there that was mentioned earlier in the showcase, and we've also got the ferry, which is really, really cool. So we've got a lot more fast travel options other than just the carriages, which you might have seen in one of our previous videos. We've got the ferries, which work as well, and that's a big part of Nibenese culture that we really another thing that we wanted to include. They work just like carriages, except they take you to various coastal places along the Niven, which is very cool. And there is actually a quest involving a very specific quest involving the ferrymen, which is really cool, which we're not looking at today, but yeah.
I guess we have some hard choices to make now. Who do we give the potions to?
Exactly, so we're back in town and we can either give them to the witch, or we can give them to, and she'll use them for her own ends. We can give them back to the man who asked for them, and everything will go back as it was. Or we can give them to the people in this town who are helping the saint and expose him. I think we're going to expose him. I think that's what we're going to do, but we have to wait until daytime to speak to them. Just taking another quick look around as well while we wait for them to come out of their house.
So these orange trees are actually a bit of a placeholder, because mothlight is called mothlight because it actually kind of farms moths for their silk.
Yeah, so those are going to be mulberry trees, aren't they? Hopefully.
Yes. Yeah.
Which is another one of those things that was lost in oblivion a little bit.
These people seem very lazy and not want to get up today.
Yes, so I think we're going to have to break in.
Well, it is a Sunday.
It's Maundas, actually.
Sunday for us.
Well, the quest was working perfectly up until this point, so, you know, something had to go wrong. So.
It wouldn't be one of our streams if it did.
You're not
If everything goes right, it's not fun.
That's okay, they've all come out now. We just had to break it. We had to open the door and let them out.
They lost their own keys.
So we're going to speak to the mother of the family and we're going to expose them, I think.
Although her door's going to push you away.
What? That's a light, a blasphemous light. I'll hear no more of such talk from you, do you understand? Lady Emily acts like she owns the town, but her family doesn't rule anything anymore. All she has is her house in Naripid Daedra. Swamp monsters, half man, half crab, half kraken, billies. They bred the lightning and eat human flesh. Lady Emily insists on using the mage's name for them. Sounded something like drakes or dregs. Whatever you call them, keep your eyes peeled and your legs ready to run. You expect me to believe that Genius has been fooling us this whole time?
It's a little hint for some of the monsters that we're hoping to have later in the future.
Oh my, I feel wonderful. Wait a moment, you're right. It's the same feeling. Why, I never. We paid this.
Oh, someone's just said in chat the voice acting mod is really bad. It's just AI generated placeholder voice lines for now. It's all obviously going to be recorded by voice actors, but that won't happen until we're just about ready to release, just to make sure it's all consistent. So just for playtesting purposes at the moment we use AI generated voice lines, but they are very much uncanny valley. It always freaks me out slightly listening to them.
Yeah, it just makes it easier for us to test stuff really and to get an idea of things. And
that's close but not quite right.
You fit us nothing but lies.
Fabia, you don't understand. The witch is trying to trick you. She brewed those potions.
Except you were looking for this potion not long ago. It's the actual source of your power. You've been slipping it in our food.
You took everything we had, you fraud, poisoner, heretic.
I had a feeling this was coming to pass. I came to try and stop it, but it seems I'm too late. Fine. This filthy town can sink into the swamp, for all I care.
Don't return if you value your life.
a bit funny that they all just walk away like that, but we'll do something about that. But yeah, that's it. I hope you've really enjoyed just this kind of very small little showcase of Nibene and one of the quests we've got. We've got hundreds and hundreds of quests in this mod, so this is just a very, very, very small slice of the pie, as it were. But we wanted to just show you something that was we thought would be a nice little representation of some of the stuff we've done this year.